The October surprise, a political term you've undoubtedly heard about, whereas a candidate suddenly gets a major boost, or it is indeed a detriment, coming in October, a mere 1 month before the election. Now, our election currently is only 8 days away. 8 days from now, we will all vote and decide who will lead this great nation going forward. So, why would we bring up the October surprise? Well, yesterday, many are aware something fairly controversial took place. We'll discuss it in a moment. Pennsylvania represents 19 electoral college votes. Very big state in terms of swing states. Both sides are vying for Pennsylvania, and many would suggest whichever candidate, Trump or Kamala Harris, wins Pennsylvania, probably will go on to win the election. Not 100% certain. There are other pathways to victory even if you lose Pennsylvania, but it's exceptionally harder once that happens. I want to point out some numbers. Now, President Trump won the state of Pennsylvania in 2016 by a mere 44,000 votes. Keep in mind the totals I'm mentioning. In 2020, Biden flipped Pennsylvania back for the Democrats. Now, he won by 81,000 votes, so he won by a larger margin than Trump. But neither one of these numbers are going to be as big as what I'm going to point out in a minute. Trump won in 2016 by 44,000. Biden won in 2020 by 81,000. Here's what I'm referencing Pennsylvania and October surprise in the same statement. In the state of Pennsylvania, they have 600,000 Latin voters. 600,000 of their voters are Latinos. So it's a decent margin of Latino voters in Pennsylvania. Here's the kicker. You'll know right off the bat what I'm talking about when I say this. 300,000 voters in the state of Pennsylvania, Puerto Ricans. 300,000 of them are Puerto Ricans. Now, clearly this is going to pertain to the statement at Trump's largest rally, loaded up, filled up Madison Square Garden, where they had a comedian go on stage and refer to the island of Puerto Rico as an island of garbage, suggesting that Latins have children, they don't pull out, and they come inside just like they do our country. Says some really awful things about Puerto Rico. And there are Puerto Ricans like the Bad Bunny and Jennifer Lopez and a lot of these folks all over social media now rallying against Trump. 300,000 Puerto Rican voters in the state of Pennsylvania. I mentioned the numbers earlier. Trump only won Pennsylvania in 2016 by 44,000 votes. That's a small margin. Even if half of these voters step up and they become disenfranchised or just simply disgruntled with Trump, 300,000 Puerto Ricans, 600,000 Latinas. Could this be some twisted form of an October surprise? Maybe not. Now, keep in mind, Trump has, or better yet, the Trump campaign, not Trump himself, the Trump campaign, the Trump administration has denounced what this comedian said. But the comedian has a history of some of these racially insensitive jokes in his past. And some might suggest that the fact that he has a history of these type of jokes might be why they hired him to begin with. It's not like he wasn't known to be controversial. Now, you get a lot of viewers that might say, listen, at the end of the day, look, dude is a comedian. This is the kind of shit comedians do. How the hell are we going to hold comedians accountable for, maybe pushing the envelope? Well, the obvious comeback is, remember Kathy Griffin holding up the severed head of former President Trump? Well, he was president at that time, holding up his head, bloodied head of him. Comedian. She's a comedian too. What she did was awful. And that didn't stop anyone from holding her accountable for crossing the line. Fact is, being a comedian, there are still lines you can cross. And referring to an entire nation as an island of garbage might just be one of them. when you're doing so at a political rally. This is not a comedian at an improv show somewhere. He's at a rally filled with political voters, folks that are siding with former President Trump. So I don't know if the comedian moniker will save him on this. But what do you guys think? Do you think he crossed the line, or is all fair in comedy? Perhaps he didn't do anything wrong in your opinion, didn't say anything wrong. At the end of the day, it's just a joke, and that's how it should be taken. That Puerto Rico is just simply an island filled with garbage. Keep in mind, before we wrap this up, Puerto Rico has nothing to do, not a damn thing to do with illegal immigration. Puerto Ricans are essentially citizens of this country by birth. If you're born in Puerto Rico, which is a territory of the United States, you're free to live in anywhere in America you want. You don't need a visa or anything. You can leave Puerto Rico and come live in America anywhere you want. So why attack Puerto Rico? And they do have representatives in Washington. So this could really cause some problems if, and I'm just talking about in Pennsylvania, there are obviously going to be Puerto Rican voters in all the other swing states too, but this has a large collection of them. 300,000 Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania alone, and neither Trump nor Biden won Puerto Rico by even half that amount. Let's say even 1/8 of that 300,000 gets disgruntled by what's coming from the Trump campaign. 1/8 could seriously make a difference. But let me know what you think in the comments. Is it all for naught? Is this a whole bunch of bullshit over nothing? Or do you believe this could possibly hurt the Trump campaign? What say you? As always, feel free to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.